Hi, this is the Black Mormon Reader, and I will be reading verses from the 43rd chapter of Alma. And now it came to pass that the sons of Alma did go forth among the people to declare the word unto them, and Alma also went forth. They preached the word according to the spirit of prophecy and revelation. In the 18th year of the reign of Judges, it came to pass that the Zoramites became Lamanites. Therefore, the people of the Nephites saw that the Lamanites were coming upon them. Therefore, they made preparation for war. They gathered together their armies in the land of Jershon. And it came to pass that the Lamanites came with their thousands, and they came unto the land of Antinomium, which is the land of the Zoramites, and a man by the name of Zarahemnah was their leader. And now, as the Amalekites were of a more wicked and murderous disposition than the Lamanites, Zarahemnah appointed the Amalekites and the Zoramites over the Lamanites. Now he did this that he might preserve their hatred towards the Nephites, that he might bring them into subjection to the accomplishment of his designs. For behold, his designs were to stir up the Lamanites to anger against the Nephites, and this he did that he might usurp great power over them, and also that he might gain power over the Nephites and bring them into bondage. And now the design of the Nephites was to support their lands and their houses and their wives and their children, that they might preserve them from the lands of their enemies, and also that they might preserve their rights and their privileges, and also their liberty, that they might worship God according to their desires. For they knew that if they should fall into the hands of the Lamanites, that whosoever should worship God in spirit and truth, the Lamanites would destroy. And they also knew the extreme hatred of the Lamanites towards their brethren, the people of the anti-Nephi Lehi, who were called the people of Ammon, and that they would not take up arms. They had entered into a covenant that they would not break. Therefore, if they should fall into the hands of the Lamanites, they would be destroyed. Thus the Nephites were compelled alone to withstand the Lamanites. And it came to pass that the army of the Lamanites had gathered together in the land of Antinom, the armies of the Nephites. Behold, the armies of the Nephites were prepared to meet them in the land of Jershon. Now the leader of the Nephites, appointed to be the chief captain over the Nephites, was a man by the name of Moroni. And Moroni took over all the command and the government of their wars. He was only 25 years old. And it came to pass that he met the Lamanites in the borders of Jershon, and his people were armed with swords and all manners of the weapons of war. And when the armies of the Lamanites saw that the people of the Nephites had prepared with the breastplates and the armored shields, and also the shields to defend their heads, and their clothing were thick. Now the army of Zarahemnah was not prepared. they became exceedingly afraid of the armies of the Nephites because of their armor, notwithstanding their number being much greater than the Nephites. So there was a larger number, but when they saw the armaments, they saw their preparations, uh, they became afraid. And now it came to pass that they durst not come against the Nephites in the borders of Gershon. Therefore they departed out of the land of Antietam into the wilderness, and took their journey round about in the wilderness, away by the head of the river Sedum, that they might come into the land of Manti, and take possession of the land. For they did not suppose that the army of Moroni would know where they had gone. But it came to pass, as soon as they departed into the wilderness, Moroni sent forth spies into the wilderness to watch their camps. And Moroni also sent certain of his men to Alma, desiring that he should inquire of the Lord whither the armies of the Nephites should go and defend themselves against the Lamanites. And it came to pass that the word of the Lord came unto Alma, and Alma informed the messengers of Moroni that the armies of the Lamanites were marching in the wilderness, and might come over into the land of Manti, and might commence an attack upon the weaker part of the people. Now Moroni, leaving a part of his army in the land of Gershon, took the remaining part of his army and marched over into the land of Manati. And he caused that all the peoples in that quarter of the land should gather themselves together to battle against the Lamanites, to defend their lands and their country, their rights and their liberties. And it came to pass that Moroni, uh, uh, okay, and it came to pass that Moroni secreted his army in the valley near the bank of the river Sidon, which was on the west of the river Sidon in the wilderness. Moroni placed spies that he might know when the camp of the Lamanites should come. Moroni knew the intention of the Lamanites to destroy their brethren and bring them into bondage, that they might establish a kingdom unto the land for themselves, and that it was the desire of the Nephites to preserve their lands and their liberty and their church. Therefore he thought it no sin that he should defend them by a clever scheme. Therefore he divided his army and concealed them on the east and on the south side of the hill of Rippah, and in the west valley on the west of the river Sidon, and into the borders of the land of Manati. And thus, having placed his army, he was prepared to meet the Lamanites. And it came to pass that the Lamanites came up from the north of the hill, where he had concealed a part of his army. And as the Lamanites had passed the hill of Rippah, and came into the valley, and began to cross the river Sedum, the army which was concealed on the south of the hill was led by a man by the name of Lehi. Lehi led his army forth and encircled the Lamanites from the east on their rear. So right here, this army surrounded in the back on the rear. We'll stop until next time.